Well, mates, how are you doing? Well, today I want to resolve a choice of two Chacom blends made, of course, Cornell Diehl, and the recipes were Jeremy Reeves, of course. The Grand Cru. Both of these tobaccos are still available if you look around. Mars Cigars, for example, or Payless, they have this one. Unfortunately, not the big three, Cup of Joe's and tobacco pipes and smoking pipes. They list it, but they don't have any more. Grand Cru. And the second one was St. Claude, the famous town in France with the origin of briar pipes. Très Français with red, white and blue, and the cockerel and the Eiffel Tower as well. So actually these tins were actually bulging a bit like this. It's not very clear, but you see it. It's usually a bit lower under vacuum, and the slight bulge was here. So I thought it's time to pop them, and then I thought, which one do I like? They're both aromatics. I took the leaf and tried to sort it out like here. Well, you see the left Grand Cru, and the black Cavendish is actually a small component, and also Perique, if I got the Perique right, and the Virginia stove is the major component, and the light Virginia is second. On the right you see St. Claude, and it's the same story. The red Virginia is number one, and number two is the light Virginia, and the smallest is the black Cavendish. So that's the leaf, St. Claude is black Cavendish and bright Virginia and red Virginia, and the Grand Cru is black Cavendish, Perique and stove Virginia and bright Virginia. So you've seen the proportions. The Perique and black Cavendish as a condiment, maybe a little bit more a condiment, but they're obviously in third place, and then the Virginia is dominant, I think. The bright Virginia is number second. So the differences are really the red Virginia to stoved Virginia, and any influence of the Perique in the leaf. But of course the toppings are different. They're both mild aromatics with a very light topping. And Grand Cru has molasses and vanilla, and St. Claude has cocoa and vanilla, sometimes described as cocoa and chocolate and vanilla. But they're very lightly topped. So you could actually describe these gentlemen as crossovers, because they're very lightly topped, and the tobacco flavors come very clear through. So if you like that direction, you could consider these tobaccos. Tobacco Reviews gave Grand Cru 2.3, a very average kind of score, and St. Claude got only 2.0, which is almost bad, but on the other hand, both tobaccos were only reviewed by 3 to 5 people, so it's hard to say that's a representative score, both of these tobaccos. But Pipe Stud gave Grand Cru 3 stars, and Stevie B said 2 stars, and St. Claude got Jim Inks 2.5 stars. He actually said it could be a all-day smoke, and Stevie B said 3 stars. So there were a couple of heavyweights in the scoring, but some people gave each tobacco 1 star, and some were complaining about tongue bite, delayed tongue bite, or it gets hot. I looked at the moisture levels with my little electronic meter. I looked at both of them, and here's the result. Grand Cru was felt drier, but it was still 17%. That's still good, and probably no drying time. And St. Claude was a bit more moisture, but only 90%, and that's 10 minutes drying. That's enough. So they're not too dry to smoke, and it shouldn't give tongue bite. Only reason I could explain they both are a bit fast in the burn dynamic is maybe the Virginia was dominant in both blends. The topping was too light to cause that, I think. So there was a difference. I found Grand Cru a bit slower and more easy to control. Both of them I smoked in my meerschaum, housekeeping, very late, but housekeeping. 9mm meerschaum with a very large bowl here. And in honor of France, I'm using a DuPont lighter made in Paris, and the tamper today is Napoleon. I think it's Larry Blackett. I think it's Napoleon. It could be Wellington, but the shoulder dressings are French, I think, so it's Napoleon. So my experience, I smoked it each in this pipe, and a briar as well over the last 3 days. So I come to the conclusion that actually the Grand Cru is my choice. I wasn't sure when I felt a bit dry, and I thought, should I hydrate it? And I said, no, measure the moisture, and realize didn't actually need hydrating. So I gave it 3 stars, which is good. It's maybe not very good, but a pleasant smoke, light, and I like the influence of molasses on the flavour with vanilla. And the stove Virginia, I think, is less hot smoking because it's processed, and the topping is so light, there's not a lot of sugar going there, so it's just enough to, give a nuance, and you taste the Virginia pretty well, and bright Virginia as well. I didn't experience any tongue bite smoking a bowl like this with an hour, but I took a tip from Paladin. I got it also in back of the day with Artful Codger. He said, pack it a little lighter and that will help your tongue bite. Because the first one, St. Claude, I smoked, I had a delayed tongue bite, not smoking, but after then. I thought, what was going on, and some of the comments, Tobacco Ruse, he said he had the same thing. So so the second smoke of St. Claude and this one, I went back to 3 reasonable pinches of tobacco. About a year I've been using 4 pinches of tobacco and stuffing the pipe a little harder and more full. So I reduced my 25% the filling tobacco, and that helps. Maybe I should go further with lighter packing, because the draw is easier, and you're not getting speed on the draw, of the vapor. So it's a slower draw, and your mouth can handle the steam and the other things that irritate. I do like these lighter blends in Meerschaum, because it's easier to differentiate the flavors, and certainly this one smokes very cool, and this is 9mm. By the way, I'm using again Parisa 9mm, and you get them in Europe very easily, and actually there's a Swiss shop that actually ships, so on the shipping I save money on this one, and they're just as good as, let's say, Savinelli or whatever, so I'm stocked up with one of these. I always have a mix of filters, because they're not totally the same 9mm, and there's slight differences, and I like to have a choice which filter. So I've got Savinelli's, I've got Dr. Pearl's, I've got Chacom. Oh, I should have used a Chacom filter, but I think I've used everything of that. Oh no, here's one. Smoking pipes have Chacom filters, and they're as good as the other ones. I can't really see a lot of difference. I only noticed that the width is, some fit one pipe and better than another pipe, so it's good to have a choice. And I've got some Petersons as well, so a nice selection of filters is always a good thing. If I would buy another one, it would probably be this one, but both of them are, let's say, middle of the road, and I've got too much tobacco and a lot of choice middle of road, so I would not order more. But these tins are, of course, the older tins. They've got Chacom 1 to 6 in the flat tins, the round ones. And number 6 is a good rum tobacco, and I bought a bit more of them because there's more flavour. And these tins actually are from 2016, so that's the reason that they're probably slightly bulging, but not dramatic. I don't think they would pop, but I decided to compare these two. But certainly the Grand Cru has the advantage of an all-day smoke and a crossover, if you like, tobaccos with just a kiss of topping. Talking of Jeremy Reeves, I've actually got an idea, and I actually contact him, and I'm doing a long experiment with sealing these tops on tins, and I found a solution, and my data will be shown in the next video. Until then, look after yourselves and have a great day, and cheerio, my friends.